feuding corporations and human testing to outright attempted murder. The lore of Roblox Rivals is far deeper than anyone realizes. Hidden behind every map, weapon and NPC dialogue is a story never been told before, so today I am diving into the official developer-backed lore of Roblox's most played shooter game. So let's start with Nosny Incorporated, the biggest weapons manufacturer in the world of Rivals. Every gun, grenade and gadget we use in the game as a player comes from them. On the surface they are just an arms company, but a slight look closer reveals an interesting backstory and insight into how they operate. The best source of lore we have for this is the maps, as this shows that there are some suspicious activities going on to say the least. Later on we will cover some really crazy things, but for now let's look at Battleground. This isn't just a map, it's basically a weapons testing facility. The build design matches that of the main lobby, which we know from NPC dialogue is a Nosny Inc. facility, and the writing on the walls points to active weapons and technology trials happening here. It's where new, unstable tech gets tested before going global, which also makes sense as this map was revamped the updates before we had all these dimension portal items added. We see explicit mentions of warp tech on the walls of this map and in the description of the weapons they later added. This is also going to be important later on in the video. Then there is Playground. This has always interested me. I could never understand how this map was in any way a playground. But when researching for this video, I realised it was a playground and is now being used as a corporate dumping ground by Nosny Incorporated. You can see old containers, tyres and crates all stamped with Nosny's logo, but here's the weird part, there is one single container marked with the logo of Sensei & Co. This detail does matter, but we will come back to why a little bit later, because finally we have got the station and docks. Both show the scale of Nosny's weapons trade, well because god damn that is a lot of shipping containers. It's hard to say exactly where these sites are located in the world, which is something we can do with Sensei & Co, but the scale alone is designed to tell us just how big Nosny Inc. really is. This isn't just a company, it's a full-scale operation, probably with more firepower than most militaries. Now to the other corner, we have Sensei & Co. This company produces cosmetics, technology, industrial goods and vehicles. In terms of what we as players experience in game, this is mainly the wraps and charms, things you would expect to be less profitable than weapons, but when you remember how many of these items there are, I think we are supposed to assume that both Sensei and Nosny have companies of similar value and influence. Now we have established what each company does, we see the first clues as to a potential past alliance between the two. All of Sensei's cosmetics fit perfectly, well, almost perfectly with Nosny's weapons, and he has a lab inside the lobby. We've already established this is a Nosny Inc. facility, meaning at one time at least, the two must have worked closely together. We do also, however, have very concrete evidence that this alliance has broken down. We will look into how and why later, that's the really interesting stuff, but for now, the consequence of this is that in every match played, the two teams represent the two feuding companies fighting it out. See, the bridge map is the only map we currently have that is exclusively used by Sensei, but it gives us probably some of the most blatant proof of this storyline you could possibly ask for. If we take a look at these signs, the yellow team has a label reading Sensei & Co. ally side, and the purple team has one reading enemy side with what is very clearly the logo of Nosny Incorporated. This map also shows us that Sensei & Co. is based in Seoul, South Korea. I can't yet find any significance to this, but it's interesting anyway and may become relevant in future updates. So that is the story of the company so far, but I have been deliberately glossing over exactly why the two broke apart in the first place. So the scene is set, two massive corporations working and profiting together. I believe they made the perfect product for both companies, a super soldier, that we know simply as the Shady Chicken. The first look we ever had at the Shady Chicken came in the ranked trailer. We see him dropping from what seems like a trapdoor in the sky, choosing from Nosny's weapons and fighting off training bots which seem to have the sole purpose of searching for and attacking him. Of course, to the average player, this is simply introducing the new ranked mode, but if you know the lore like we do, the lighting, the drop, and the movement of the bots, it's not showing the game. It doesn't look like ranked, rather it looks like a controlled test, it looks like a deployment. Whatever he was powerful, and at some point we have to assume things went wrong and that the Shady Chicken escaped this experimentation. We know this because he only later resurfaced during the Hunt event, where he was cynical, cryptic, and openly hostile towards both Nosny and Sensei. His role was to guide the player to the Hunt tokens, but the dialogue tells us he is no fan of the companies that potentially made him, stating, "I don't care which company you cook for, both companies are equally foul." Later in the event, he reveals that the player has found his old secret hideout, then introduces two incredibly OP boss robots which he personally created, one themed after Nosny and the other after Sensei. This is no subtle hint, the player's aim is to destroy them both. And remember, it's not flattery either that they are so OP, because at the end of the event he once again reminds the player that neither side is in it for you. After the end of the hunt, the face of a chicken drowning in lava has appeared on the Onyx map. We know that the Shady Chicken has felt the need for a secret hideout in the past, and now having appeared then disappeared inside a Nosny Inc. facility, it doesn't seem like a stretch to think that the corporate giants Nosny and Sensei have attempted to bury their secret once and for all. Now, as I was researching for this video, I thought that was the end of the Shady Chicken, but then the Halloween event released. If you complete 16 floors of this tower, you are faced with an enormous zombie boss who, well, it doesn't take a genius to see, looks an awful lot like the Shady Chicken. Obviously, a zombie is a dead body resurrected, and the fact that he is now 50 foot tall and absolutely shredded supports the past theory of him being some sort of genetically enhanced super soldier when he was alive. He did seem to be pretty dead at the end of the boss battle, but he also seemed to be pretty dead when he was drowning in lava. So the question is, do you think we will see a return of the Shady Chicken once again? Please let me know in the comments what you think of this. Despite that obviously being the deepest plotline of Roblox Rivals lore, we are not yet done, as I believe the beginning of the next major arc has already been introduced. We will start with the most recent permanent update, all of which was themed around warp technology and portals. See, in Sensei's side of the lobby we have a big open portal along with computer readouts warning us that it's unstable. Admittedly, we didn't need a reminder of that, since an identical portal can be seen in the dimension map, literally eating a house. But we know at this point in the timeline Nosny and Sensei are not on great terms, so what is odd to me is that Nosny's weapons suddenly started using this very tech that Sensei seemed to be inventing. In my opinion, Nosny Inc. stole this breakthrough, refined it in one of their facilities, and used it in a new line of items which we now know as the contraband weapons. Now, I don't believe this plotline is finished, so I won't attempt to make further theories or speculations, but what I will say is I would not be surprised if at some point we see a response of this from Sensei & Co. And finally, the newest NPC, Nico from Nico Laboratories. Standing where our boy Shady Chicken once did, his dialogue doesn't even try to hide that his story is unfinished and actively being worked on. What is currently available though does make me think that this is going to be the next major plotline of Rivals lore. He hints that he is conducting research, and he also suggests it's not going to be positive. If I was a gambling man, I would say that very soon the dark past of these shady companies is going to be brought to light. I say very soon, his notebook is currently empty, but hey, I'm going to trust the process. And with that, the story so far has been told. It has taken me a long time to research, write and create this video, so a like would mean the world. I'd love to hear your guys' interpretations of this lore in the comments, share it with your friends, see what they think, but above all else I really hope you enjoyed. Until next time my friends, as always it's bon voyage, my old cream crackers. R.I.P. Shady Chicken!